My name is Nyasha Banhire is my surname. I just want to touch on something just before I go into my presentation. Mr. Godfrey was talking about other avenues. Then he brought in transport. You know, this morning somebody texted me from Essex, I think it's Essex, and said there is a shortage of patient transport. Are you interested? Yeah, I'm a businessman, so obviously I'll say yes. Then I'll arrange to meet that person and we talk more. But then I was thinking, just when I was sitting there, if I'm to start a business today, now, right? Everybody is here who can help me to start a business. Yes? Right. If you go on all these, yeah, start from that one, Medix, Joyous, K Quality, Blue, HSCPN, the insurance, Egomat, Creative Market, you know, Tanlo, the lawyers, everyone is here. So now my question is, where do we get it wrong when we are starting our businesses and we do it in a way that is not within regulations? Where do we get it wrong when we've got all these people? Yeah, just the transport business, which you were saying. Because transport is actually my area. Before I came into this country, I was actually a transport manager. So I did transport in Africa. And it's a different ball game out there and here. But here, don't just think that it's just transport for moving patients from one place to another. You need all these people. You need them, all of them, to help you set it up. And you might need some of them to continue with you, even with trainings and all those things. So thank you so much for listening, because I think this has inspired me, Mr. Mshantu. I'll be coming to you to know more about this transport before I go and meet this other person who has invited me to this, because that's not an area of business for me in the UK. So I need to understand how to go about it as a business person. So yeah, my name is Nyasha Banhire. I'm a director of Children's Services. I'm a social worker by profession as well. I've been a social worker for a while. I left social work after working with children, adults, learning disabilities, courts, safeguarding, all of it. I've done it. I've done it all. I must say, even hospital social work, I've done it as well. So I left social work a few years back, and I went into children's services. One would ask, why did I go into children's services? When I was doing all this work I was doing, I also started as a support worker. So it's a field that I know very well. Residential care worker, support worker. I've been there. I've done those shifts myself. So it's an area that I felt I've got experience. And when I was a children's social worker as well, I felt that was the route I wanted to take. Yes, I've got experience. I've managed even in services for adults. I've managed in services for children. I'm currently a responsible individual within my own organization. I'm also a nominated individual within my own organization. These are the only roles that I have not given to anybody. One would ask me why I have not given it to anybody, because I'm so passionate about what I do. I felt that if I give away these roles of responsible individuals, because there's a lot of responsible individuals out there, you know, it has become a business on its own of becoming a responsible individual. Those who are in health and social care, especially children's services, you know what I'm talking about. Responsible individuals marketing themselves out there, and they'll come to you. I can be a responsible individual probably for 10, 12, 15 homes. Yeah, which means I can come to yours probably for 10 minutes, 20 minutes. I've done my part. I've met regulation according to them. But I said to myself, I am going to continue as the responsible individual until I find somebody whom I feel is not going to leave my services. I haven't had any people leave in my services just like that. Like I said when I was sitting there, that if you treat your staff well, they'll grow and stay with you. So I haven't had that much of people leave in my services, but as we know that people come and they can leave anytime. And most of these children that we look after, they are so vulnerable that seeing different faces all the time is not a good thing. They've been let down so many times. And with people coming and going, coming and going, coming and going, at least there should be some faces that stay with them until they move on. It should be the other way around, not we staff moving on. So I said to myself, I will stay as a responsible individual. Even if my managers come and go, they should know that Nyasha is always there. As long as they are within our services, I'm always there. Yes, there will be a time when I'm going to give this away to somebody else, somebody qualified enough to do it. I will do that at some point. My business is something that I can run when I'm away. I can be in any country running the business, but I still have to come back and go and see my services so that I also meet regulation, as well as I make sure that the oversight, I'm not skipping on that one. I have to make sure that services are running properly. What Mr. Mshandu was saying about our business is when you are a person who does not have systems and you are not able to leave your business to go even on a holiday to Skegness, I think you are not a business. You're not in business. I think you are an employee. That is what it means. Because as an employee, you cannot just willy-nilly just leave your work and go wherever you want to go. I've been there. I've been an employee myself. I'm no longer an employee. I'm an employer. So with systems that we have been talked about here, yeah, I'm still going back to others before I even touch on mine. Yeah, because obviously I've got how many minutes? 50, 40? Yeah. So I'm touching on others, but with systems, yeah, I'm going somewhere with this. With systems that have been talked about here, you can start to go on holidays, you can start to do whatever you want to do with your life. Richard Branson is one example that I always give to people. Those who know his history, ex-DJ, yes? Ex-DJ, yeah. Have you read about Richard Branson? Yeah. We have read about Richard Branson, yeah. Now he's got probably, he's in trades, he's in airlines, he's in he's in a lot of things. And he's all over the show. I've met him in Zimbabwe myself. I've actually got a picture with him in my office. I met him in Zimbabwe when he was visiting Zimbabwe, doing something else there. But his airline is still running, his trains are still running and all those kind of things. He's not even a train driver, he's not even a pilot, but he's making it. This is where we are supposed to be if we are going to be serious with this. At the moment, some of us, including myself, let me include me in there, because I don't want to, to say this to anybody else who is not me. Maybe let's use me. We are not using this as a proper business. We are just saying we are going into it just because Nyasha is doing it and I can do it and I can start to make money. Okay, let's go back to why I'm here, why I've been invited here. How many of us here are running children's services? Just want to have an idea so that I see if I'm going to lie here. At least I know that there is going to be people. How many? Not even any. Oh, that's good then. What an opportunity. And how many of us want to be in children's services? Okay. All right. So what I'm going to talk about here, I've been asked to talk about how to set up a residential children's home. I am aware that possibly majority want to set up supported accommodation. Yes, which is also under Ofsted registration. But I've been asked to talk about setting up children's homes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about the children's homes, and if people have got questions that I can, I will be able to answer if I can. I'm not standing here as a consultant. I'm standing here as somebody who is also in this business, as somebody who has walked the shoes of many of you here who are also in business, be it CQC, be it whatever you're doing, possibly our problems are the same. So this network gives us the opportunity for us all to be able to share, these frustrations, what we go through. As Chenge was saying, when she spoke about the ethics, there are a lot of challenges that we get as providers. And this is not only those who are CQC, even us as well who are in Ofsted, with staffing, with our own staff that we are employing. It was good for the UK government to open the doors to bring in support workers, carers to the UK, but at the same time, it created problems. It created problems not only to us who are coming, but it also created problems to the country itself, because those who were here got the opportunity to go and sit at home and claim benefits that are now have been cut by the government. Sorry to touch on it. I would have wished that with people coming from all over the world or the globe and mix with people who are already here, like when we came here, speaking of myself, I came here, I think it's almost 20 years now. Where I was working all these years when I was here, I was working where we were quite mixed up. So we quickly learned the systems. We quickly learned how to live in the UK, because we were living amongst the people in the UK who have been born and lived in the UK. It's the same if you are to come to Zimbabwe. I come from Zimbabwe myself. If you are to come to Zimbabwe today, if you want to quickly learn, obviously you learn it from the Zimbabweans. You learn the good things, you learn the bad things. It's the same as here. You learn the good things, you learn the bad things. But at the moment now, the care system, many of us who are working there are people of color, of my color, and many of who are coming from Africa. So you cannot have a situation where me, who have just also come probably a year ago, 2 years ago, I'm expected to induct or for somebody to shadow me to learn what? Exactly. Right. So, like what Mr. Mshandu said, I run children's homes. I also run supported accommodation. A few years back, when we started supported accommodation, it was called semi-independent living, unregulated, as many of you would know. And we quite grew because we were in different areas. So we had almost 27, nearly 30 around the UK. Then the regulations came into play. We were specializing in taking children or young people with complex needs, especially behavioral, right? And the same children now, they don't meet threshold for supported accommodation. Maybe that's another topic for us to discuss on another day, on the threshold, what meets threshold and what does not meet threshold. Because I see a lot of companies, especially of us who have been there before, we are getting into problems, not understanding what meets threshold and what does not meet threshold. So we were taking all these children with complex needs, where you have a child, one child probably might have 4 or 5 staff, that we call 5 to 1 or 4 to 1 or whatever. We've gone as far as we had a child who was 7 to 1. Yep. With complex needs, they could not place him anywhere in the country. He was just from a secure unit, and they wanted to send him back, but at the same time, the judge felt that he has not been trialed enough in the community. So it meant that they had to try him in the community, but he needed 7 staff to 1. But now, that does not meet threshold of supported accommodation. Those are the same young people who are said they should be in residential children's homes, which I'm going to be talking about today, how to set it up. So with residential children's homes, you have what we call, securing a suitable premise. So this might be you renting a house, or maybe buying a house, or maybe get it from deal sources. There's a deal sourcer there. I'm advertising people as I talk. So you can get a house, right? You start to pay rent, whatever you're paying. It could be your house, but you're still paying bills anyway. Then you have to apply for a planning permission, right? There is no time frame. Of course, on paper, they write time frame. On planning, this you know, it might take maybe 12 weeks or 6 weeks or whatever. But being honest, because I run children's homes, I've got a couple of them, there is no time frame on when you are going to get your planning permission, because with planning permission, the neighbors are going to say no anyway. Yeah? They will definitely say no. You and me, how do you feel if you receive a letter saying that there's going to be a children's home next door to you? Yeah? You are going to start to think, oh yeah, these youngsters, they are going to start to bend the beans, they are going to start to smash my car, they are going to do this, all sorts, right? But what you are forgetting is, this is a regulated placement, yeah? The same house, I can use it for supported accommodation, I don't need a planning permission. Same house. And this is those youngsters who really do what I've been talking about, that they are going to bend pins, they are going to smash my car, they are going to do this, right? And I don't need a planning permission. But the younger ones that meet threshold for residential, they are going to be controlled because they're in a controlled environment. Majority of them, they will have a doors anyway. They can't even leave the door on their own. They will be having staff all the time, 24 hours. So, you know, this is one thing that people, you know, especially neighbors. I've been in streets myself in some of the houses that we are applying for planning permissions, and I've talked to neighbors and I've reassured them to say, you are better off saying yes to my planning permission, because if you don't, I'm still going to bring a young person here who is going to give you problems, because every young person has got the right to live like all of us, like you and me, in the community. It's a right. Under the children's right, it's actually a right. So it doesn't matter, you know, what that young person will do in the streets and whatever, but they've got a right also to enjoy life as much as we all of us enjoy. So I always tell people, so yeah, we go on the planning permission, it takes whatever time it takes. Then during that time, you have to start to recruit a manager. So this manager, to meet, obviously to meet regulation 28, should have at least 5 years of working in care, with at least 2 years in a residential children's home, or in any way that they work with children, and at least 1 year in a role that they are supervising. It could be team leader, it could be deputy manager, it could be shift leader, whatever role, as long as they supervise, they do supervisions, you know, they do rotas, they do all those kind of things. Yeah, which is one big hurdle at the moment. Then you also have to recruit a responsible individual. And this could be just a director from the same company, as long as he's got the skills and the experience and the right set of skills to be able to supervise, oversight, and all those kind of things. Majority of companies that are trying to do this as a business, their directors don't have the experience, they don't have the skills, so they have to go and employ people like me, right? I am not employed by anybody because I think I've got enough on my, you know, I want to be able to go on holiday. But they have to employ. So when they employ, you start to pay these people while you are waiting. You see? It goes back to what Mr. Mshandu was saying, that there are hurdles, you know, there are things that stops us. You have to pay, and it could be 12 weeks, 18 weeks, whatever, 6 months, whatever. There is no time frame. Yes, if you go on Ofsted website, it will tell you maybe 12 weeks, blah, 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 but to be honest, there's no time frame. You have to pay those people. They will come to work, make a cup of coffee, go outside for cigarette breaks, you know, sit, chill, talk what has happened over the weekend, where they've been, all that kind of, you know, all stories. because they are not working, but they're still being paid, right? So in that time, majority of us, that's where we start failing. Because yes, maybe we've got the planning permission is now out, but the manager now is just sitting there and we are still waiting for Ofsted. And people get bored. Not everybody wants to be paid just sitting. People get bored. People will start to look for jobs somewhere else, where there's real action. So they will leave. When they leave, your application goes back to zero. You start again. Yeah, I'm talking from experience because I've been there. Yeah, we've got a mushroom of managers now who are scammers. What they are doing is they will apply for the job a week or a day before. When you have applied for Ofsted registration a week or a day before, they will resign. Yeah, then you start again. They will never even register, and they go to another company and do it again and again. Yeah, I've got one who wants to take me to the courts because I refused to give him a reference. Because he did that to me, and I realized and discovered that he had done it to somebody else. Then I said, so what kind of reference do I give you? Because I can't lie. I can't lie because I'm here to safeguard the children. So I can't lie. Unfortunately, I can't. So he's threatened. He's written to my office to say he's going to take me to court. And I'm okay with that. I'm happy to go to court if it comes to going to court, because I'm not going to lie. What do I write on a reference of somebody who was just sitting drinking tea a day before? The same person resigned. This one actually resigned the night before the inspector coming the following day and resigned. Yeah, just like that, just disappeared. So inspector comes in, there's nobody. Yeah, and I'm there. And I'm trying to call him. He's not even answering his call. The next thing is my office is telling me that, oh, we have received the resignation. What? And now he's expecting me to give him a reference to another company who wants to do the same. These are things that are happening in children's services. I'm not too sure of CQC, but these are some of the things that are happening. So you can see that you would have spent all that money, yeah, thinking that we are going somewhere. Yet you are just on one place. Right, so step 3, you create an account online, Ofsted online portal, that government gateway thing. That's where you create an account. Then you complete what is called the SC1 application form. That is the provider. So you as the provider, you have to complete that, where you are going to write about the home, about your teams, what you can put in there. Then the manager, the registered manager, will complete the SC2, the responsible individual will complete as well, and possibly the director will complete as well, who is the provider. You attach with supporting documents such as the policies, going back to policies again, missing from care, safeguarding policy, locality risk assessment, your planning permission, just to mention a few. There's quite a lot that you have to attach with, your planning permission. Then you also attach as well your proof of funding, which is your statement, your bank statements, and that is what these guys blue will do for you, right? Because you can't do it. You don't just go and say to your bank, can I have my bank statement? No, they want a financial statement. And that financial statement, you need an accountant to do it, to do the numbers and the figures. You have to submit and a letter from the bank to say, yes, this person banks with us, because they don't really need to see what is in your bank, to be fair. They want it from their accountants, and a letter from the bank to say this person banks with us. So those are some of the documents before you submit your application. You would pay your registration fee, and it also depending with the number of properties that you are applying, the number of children that are going to be there. Then the step 4, you have to go through what is called a fit person in suitability assessment. Yeah? These are things that are happening while you are still paying people. Yeah? You're still paying. Yeah, and maybe we are at month what? Probably we are at month 3 or whatever. Yeah? And you are still paying. Competitive salaries as well, because as you know that managers are not cheap these days. Yeah? Responsible individuals, some, they charge nearly 500 to 1,000 a day. Yeah? That's what they charge, depending on how many homes they have been responsible individuals. So you pay, and you do, they go the fit person suitability assessment, and financial background will be checked. Any criminal records will be checked, that is through DBS. They will also contact the local authorities. So if you are a Newcastle person, they will contact Newcastle just to find out a little bit more about you, because you'll be in the systems. This country, the beautiful thing is they've got systems. Maybe you might have registered for CQC and dodged something there, but you lied, they will find it, right? Then they will conduct a registration visit, which the person from Ofsted, the inspector, usually the person who comes and does the visit, not always, but usually the person who comes and does the visit end up being your inspector, but not always. Sometimes they can just bring anyone who come and do an inspection visit where they're going to view the house, to see that it meets regulation, look at the locality risk assessments, look at your fire risk assessments, look at your building, whatever paperwork, your gas certificates, electrical certificates. They'll go through a lot. It takes a whole day, a whole day. In some cases, it can take up to 2 days, depending. If there are some things that they want, they will come back again the following day. This has happened to us. So before approval, once they finish with the visit and everything, they say, yep, that's fine. The inspector is not the one who is going to give you, to say you have been approved, but they can tell you. Yeah, sometimes they will tell you to just say, yes, I think we will be registering you. It depends also with that relationship you start with them. They might be able to tell you. So the inspectors will assess, and they will assess using what we call the skiff. You know, when I asked about, when I asked how many people are registered here, I felt that probably people would understand what these books are all about. Yeah, these are free on the Ofsted website. They are there on the government website. You just download these, make it a book. If you are a book reader like me, I like reading proper paper books. I don't like reading things on here. I read here, quite old school. They are free. Yeah? I'll go back to what Mr. Mshandu said. Research. Read before you just think, oh, Nyasha is doing it, then I can do it. You need this. These are your guides. These are your Bibles. These. So you need to understand what meets a red 40 threshold. When a child visits the hospital and sleeps in a hospital overnight, you definitely need to notify Ofsted, because Ofsted shares corporate parental with the local authority, is the governing body. The local authority being the corporate parent, and Ofsted is the governing body, so it's the umbrella. They need to know that their child is in hospital. Yes?
Well, I work with children on the nursing side. At times you get a child who comes early and 5 in the evening, and because of no doctors in the department, that child is only seen maybe after 10 hours of being in A, and usually it's overnight. Do they need to do that regulation 40?
Right. Now, that's a very good question. I say, me, as long as it's today is what, 22, right? And that child is in hospital, whether they're sitting on the bench or whatever, right? They've not been admitted, they've not been seen, whatever, but it's the next day. I always say to my managers, what do you lose just writing a Reg 40? You lose nothing. or you just write what has happened. Because overzealous inspectors, they are there. Yeah, they will come and say, but this child was there for 24 hours. Yeah, did you notify us? And if something happens to that child, how are you going to explain it? Let's say that child leaves the hospital, goes back, and something happens. What are you going to say? So I always say to my managers, right, it does not matter as long as if you go today and you come back after midnight, put Reg 40. Yeah, let them read. If they feel that this does not meet threshold, whatever, they'll just throw it away. But records, we've got them, you keep them. Whatever they do with them there, it's not our business. But we have notified them. It's very important there. You have done your part. It's a very easy document because it guides you anyway what to write. So it's quite easy. It's something that can be done in 2-3 minutes. Then you just click send. It goes, But obviously we've got lazy managers sometimes. Yeah, they don't want to do them because they have to do a follow-up. They have to do a follow-up. They have to evidence that they've done a follow-up. Yeah, you've written a Reg 40, and what did you do about it? Yeah, but a follow-up can be just a 2 minutes discussion with that child. That's it, and you record it. Yeah, that you have done it. So that's the Reg 40. It's a requirement. And your staff as well, the managers or deputy managers, shift leaders, team leaders, they have to understand this. They have to understand because there could be an issue. I'll give you a small example, which I had my own staff contemplating whether this is Reg 40 or whether it's not. So a police we had a child who went missing for a few hours. Was reported missing, came back on their own. Then police came to do a welfare check, right? Police knocked at the door. We have come to see Jack. Is he there? Yeah. Okay, we want to just see whether he's okay. Jack comes on the door, speaks to them. Yeah, I'm all right. Yeah. You know the language of these youngsters, right? F off, don't come and talk to me, right? Police leaves and goes, right? Now the question is, do we do a Reg 40 for that? No, we don't, because the police did not come into the house, blah, 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 right? Said, okay, so the police, when they came, did they come to see you? No. Who did they come to see? The child. So the fact that they came to see the child, yes, you need to put a Reg 40. Because they did not come to see you. If they had come to see you as a staff member, nothing to do with the child, then there's no need for Reg 40. But anything to do with the child, put a Reg 40. Because the same police, what they will do to cover their tracks, they will go and write to Ofsted to say, we have done this, we have done that, we have done that. Ofsted does not do anything, they will keep quiet. Yes, waiting to see that you are going to put that Reg 40. And a Reg 40, I say to my team, it has to be sent within 12 hours. Yeah, this whole thing, 24 hours or after, no, you are breaching regulations. Simple as that. What are you waiting for? Just send it. So within 12 hours, just send it. Yes, of course, they give up to 24 hours to send it, but me, I would say send it in 12 hours. Yeah, and I want a copy as the responsible individual, no matter where I am, even under a tree in Mushayabasa there, I still want to see a copy pinging to say, this is what has happened, and I'll make a follow-up just to see what's going on. Because we have to tread within regulations to make sure that the children are safe, right? Then we've got a regulation 45.
Sorry.
Yes.
Yeah, just to share, because we've got a provider who is actually in serious problem because of that. An issue around a young person, and they discussed with the social workers, and they agreed whatever solutions, and they didn't do a notification. When Ofsted came, this happened some 4 or 5 months before, they realized and recognized the information, and they asked, and the manager surprisingly said, no, I talked with the social worker, and the social worker told me that there's no need for a Reg 40. And when the social worker was contacted, She said she doesn't remember saying that.
Yes.
They are now in trouble.
Yes.
We are talking now.
Yes. Yes.
So
Yes.
never follow. You have a responsibility
Yes.
as a provider to know the regulation yourself.
Yes. Social worker does not know a Reg 40. For your information, social worker only knows an incident report. That is what they understand. Yeah. And it's not within their regulation for them to send the Reg 40 anyway. What a social worker can do is they can send what is called a LADO. Social workers can trigger a LADO, but not the Reg 40s. They don't care about the Reg 40s. That's between a provider and Ofsted. Yeah. So it's very true. And some homes, I know of a few right now, right, who are in trouble, especially with these Reg 40s. Yeah. Some of them have been issued closures because of these Reg 40s. A document that is self-explanatory, which is on the system, all you need to do is to put what has happened, which you should have anyway in your logs. If you are doing your things proper, you should have them. So it's just copy and paste. That's it. Send it. Yeah? And do a follow-up on your own. The follow-up doesn't matter. That's for your own records.
It sounds silly, just do it. It's up to them to say.
What do you lose? The thing is, if you are not even sure, I would rather you do it. Yeah, I have said to my managers, they know this because I have meetings with my managers every Monday. Yeah, we do a debrief every Monday. And I go through those reports. Yeah, how many, that home, how many did we have? You tell me. Yeah, because I also read the logs. I also read incident reports. When I don't have anything to do, I'll be going through all those things. I'll just pick a home and I'll go through. Then I see some things there, but I didn't see the Reg 40 for it. Yeah, because I don't want to get into trouble as a provider. I'll call that manager to say, where is the Reg 40? You know. So anything is, as much as it sounds silly, just do it. So there is what is called the Regulation 45. This is a report or some quality assurance that your manager has to do every 6 months. So they'll have to talk to the child, talk to the staff, you know, all those things, and come up with a report of how the home is running. Then you as a provider, you have also to put your own comments there. As you are aware that Ofsted inspect yearly, right? But that does not mean that they cannot come in 2 months just after you open, or 1 month or 1 week just after you open. If there is anything that they deem serious or an incident that they deem it could be a safeguarding for a child or putting a child at harm, or they've been whistleblowing or something, you know, they will come anytime. Yeah? But their inspections are yearly. So all these reports, you have the Reg 44 sending reports every month. Yeah, it gives them a clear picture of what is happening in so and so's home. Then after every 6 months, you have your manager doing a Reg 45. Now, most managers that we are employing, they've never done these reports. They don't even know these reports. Because these are people that have been shift leaders, team leaders, or deputy managers, never had the opportunity to do such a report or to work alongside somebody who's doing that report. So come 6 months, because you as a provider probably are not even aware of this because you did not read. Yeah, come 6 months, nothing goes to Ofsted. That's a breach. That's a breach on its own. Yeah, so just be mindful. As much as you are employing people who say, yeah, we know this, we have done this, whatever. I think when you do your background checks, you need to be very sure that this person has got the experience and how far they have gone with what they call experience. Because majority of us, we are caught because we are employing people who've got no idea of what they are doing and putting children at risk, putting children in danger. Yeah, Ofsted have stepped up to do all this. To, you know, when they are now saying that supported accommodation needs to be registered. You know the reason? Landlords, yeah, overnight became providers. No experience, nothing. Putting children at risk, putting children in danger. Yeah, the most vulnerable children in the UK being supported by landlords, just a landlord. Yeah? Just to summarize, the Reg 44, which is an independent monthly inspection report, this is mandatory every month. The Reg 45 is done by the registered manager. It's mandatory every 6 months. The Regulation 40, which we normally call the Reg 40, this is sent to Ofsted. This is done by the registered manager. This is immediate after an incident. It's also mandatory. Ensure that all your staff are trained. It's very important that all your staff are trained to understand all these things. Does not matter even a support worker, care worker, doesn't matter. They need to be trained to understand these things. Always keep the records as well. Record keeping is very, very important. You know, the good thing when you've got systems in place, like what I'm starting to see, I see it in my office that they now photocopy everything. I don't know, they scan everything and put it on the system, and that paper document becomes a filed document on the system. Yeah, we still keep the paper versions, whatever, if we have got anything that is paper, because legally we have to keep it for so many years, right? But at least if, let's say the building burns down, those documents are somewhere, right? And work with external professionals, which are social workers, police, healthcare teams, to address issues that are raised in all these 3 reports. Yeah? There we are. Thank you. But please, for those, go and read these. They are there online. All these things, they are there. Yeah? I'm not as intelligent as what you might think. It's all in the books. Thank you so much.